Johannes, difficult afternoon here at Carrow Road. Can you sum up your feelings after that one?
I don't think my feelings is the most important. I think it's just important to mention that, or say that it was a poor performance from minute 1 to minute 90 something, and not at all what we can expect or people watching can expect from us. I think even though we got back with the first goal and probably created a little bit of momentum, we have that big chance for Kellen Fisher at the back post to make it 2-1. I think it would still not have been the case that we have been a good football team out there today, because I think there was simply too many situations that we found it very, very hard to deal with today.
Does the fact that Portsmouth had a lot to play for and us not so much come into it, or should that not be a thing?
Yeah, I don't hope so. But obviously we have to find out, and I will have some talks with the players here just to make sure that what we put out there for the last 3 games of the season is players with that internal or individual motivation to do whatever it takes to win a game in the championship. Because was that the difference today? I don't know. It's always difficult to point out when it comes to motivation because it's so difficult to measure. But I could just see that things that is normally easier for us to deal with was not the case today. And I think too many situations where we simply have to be better and stronger turned out to be exactly the opposite.
Since we saw Josh Sargent score that stoppage time winner here against West Brom, results have dropped off. Why do you think that is?
It's a good question. I think there's obviously been some tight and even games in between that, but there's also been Plymouth away and probably this one today here, where we can be put under pressure with those. Sometimes even just us running offside and then their goalkeeper bringing the ball into our box, and then it seems like we really, really have to do a lot to make sure that it will not turn into chances or goals that we concede. I'm annoyed with the 5th goal they scored. I'm annoyed with the penalty we give away just before half-time. Again, situation where we can clear the ball 2-3 times, but we don't give it away, or we don't clear it away from the area, and then we end up committing a penalty, which we've seen too many times this season as well. So it's exactly those moments in the game that we simply have to do better.
It's looking like somewhere in the middle of the table finish. What do you think you've learnt from your first season in the Championship that will take you forward into next season?
Oh, that's a hard question. Just here, 45 minutes after the game, I think no matter what, we will be mid-table this season. So what we have to do right is the performances needs to. We need to upgrade the performances. We need to do better in the way that we want to play the game. I think Sunderland was an okay performance overall. I think we did more than enough to win that one. I think West Brom was, the game plan was what it was. I think Plymouth was off in many ways. I think Burnley, first half was not good. Second half was okay. Probably also a little bit more than okay. So we have to combine, or we have to mix 2 good halves. So we turn it into a whole good game. That's a important message and important thing for us going into the last 3 games, because we have to get everything out of it, absolutely everything out of it. We cannot be satisfied with what we saw today.
Do you plan to use those games to learn something about players who may not have had as many minutes in recent weeks?
I don't think the timing is right. I think the timing is to find the ones where they have that individual motivation to go out and do everything they can, and then of course to get the game plan right. So what we do also when we're not on top, we have to make sure that we're not looking fragile in dealing with every single cross. We have to probably give a little bit more protection to the back line and see what we can do there. So it's about finding the players that suit that game plan best, but also finding the players that just have the motivation to do what it takes, because it's not an easy place to go to Millwall on a Monday, where they probably fight for a little bit more than we do. So that will not be an easy game. That will be a hard game in many ways, and we have to make sure we give them a hard fight.
A couple of players left the field today, potentially with injuries. What can you tell us about Josh Sargent, perhaps Lungi?
Yeah, not too much about Sarge. He felt that knock on his shoulder just before halftime and couldn't really continue. So we have to assess him tomorrow and see what it is. What more? I don't think there was any other injuries.
I think Lungi took a challenge later on. I was just wondering
if he's all right. I think he's all right. I asked him, and I think he's all right.